If you've ever wanted to make a crazy transformation with your physique but have absolutely no idea where to start, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to share my fitness journey and the exact lessons I learned along the way that helped me achieve my dream physique. I honestly believe my physique wouldn't be where it's at today without these lessons. And even if you can apply just one of these to your own journey, you'll be shocked at the amount of progress you'll be able to make. You don't need amazing genetics, you don't need anabolic steroids, and you definitely don't need Ozempic. You just need to apply these simple lessons I'm about to talk about. So let's talk about them. This was me in 2018. Skinny, low in confidence, feeling insecure, and at the start of my fitness journey. This was right before I went away to uni. Oh, look at that. Absolute man mountain. A Greek god. I can honestly say that this stage, the very beginning, was the hardest part of my entire journey. The truth is, a lot of people, myself included, struggle to see real progress in those first 3 to 6 months. And it's not because they're doing anything wrong, or it's not because I was doing anything wrong, it's because they don't have a clear plan. They're unsure of what to do, where to start, or even how to measure progress. And when your expectations are sky high, which for me, I remember they were. Does anyone remember the topless Henry Cavill scene out of Man of Steel? Yeah. I wanted to look like that in 2 weeks. At the start, it's easy to start doubting everything. I just remember thinking, am I even doing this right? What if I'm not and I'm just wasting time and effort? That doubt builds frustration. And for a lot of people, that's where they quit, before they never really even get going. On top of that, when you're super skinny like I was, the fear of being judged can feel like a massive hurdle to overcome. I used to walk into the gym feeling anxious, like I didn't even belong there. It was intimidating, and honestly, it held me back for a long time because I was so scared of what people thought of me. My first bit of advice for anyone starting out in the gym, stick it out. Play the long game. You've got to get comfortable with delayed gratification. I'll be real with you. At first, the gym probably won't be fun. You might even hate it. You'll put a lot of effort in, push through a lot of discomfort, and see very little return at the start. And that's normal. That's just part of the process. But if you can push through that initial phase, the game completely changes. The first time you see a bicep vein, drop your first 10 kilo, catch a glimpse of your abs, or hit a big milestone, like benching 2 plates for the first time. Now I'm annoyed I can't do 3. The goalposts always move. Whatever your goal is, when you finally see the results of that hard work, that's when it clicks. That's when it becomes addictive. Once you feel that first real bit of progress, you're hooked. But you'd never get there unless you stuck it out. So stick it out.
Please respond to all future fire alarms.
Excellent. Okay, so this brings me to 2019. I just finished my first year of uni and completed my first bulk. I got up to 100 kilos, I felt pretty fat, but I'd still made noticeable progress, and I had my sights set on leaning down for the summer. One of my biggest goals in fitness at the time was to finally see my abs, but I had no clue how to diet properly. I'd never done it before, and like most people starting out, I was winging it. So to make sure I didn't waste time and actually saw results, I hired my first coach. Enter Kian. At the time, I used to work with Kian, and he'd made some mad progress himself. He offered to take me through a proper fat loss phase and promised I'd see my abs by the end of it. I was sold. We got to work, and honestly, the results blew me away. That brings me on to my second piece of advice. Get some guidance. Either hire a personal trainer, or at the very least, seek advice from someone who knows what they're doing. If I hadn't reached out to Kian, there's a good chance I'd have spun my wheels, got frustrated, and lost motivation. Having someone experienced in your corner can save you months, if not years, of wasted time. A good coach has been through their own process. They know what works, they've faced the same obstacles you will, and they can guide you to your goal without any of the guesswork. For the vast majority of my fitness journey, someone has coached me. That being said, I get it. Not everyone wants to invest in a coach up front. Luckily, we live in the age of free information. There are thousands of YouTube videos out there to help you make progress. On the screen now, I'm going to show you 10 fitness YouTubers that consistently give simple, credible advice that can help you build muscle, lose fat, and reach your fitness goals. And at the start of my fitness journey, I've personally learned a ton from these guys, so check them out. Okay, moving on. From 2019 to 2022, whilst finishing my uni degree, I cycled through multiple bulks and cuts, steadily adding muscle. Even during the pandemic, I set up a home gym during lockdown so I could keep momentum going. But by early 2022, things started to slide. Honestly, I felt unmotivated. I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with my physique next. That's when I decided to hire my second coach. Ryan. Ryan saw potential in me that I couldn't even see in myself. He encouraged me to set a new target for myself, stepping on a bodybuilding stage. It lit the fire under me. He made me realize I still had so much more to give and that I was nowhere near my genetic potential. We started with my first properly structured gaining phase, pushing my body weight up gradually over 6 months, the longest I'd ever bulked for. Ryan really emphasized starting from a lean baseline, creating a longer runway for progression. He also taught me how to take my training intensity and intent to the next level. For the first time in my training journey, I wasn't obsessing over how I looked. Instead, I became obsessed with performance, chasing numbers, and chasing progression, doing things on the gym floor that I had never done before. We'd spent over a year grafting with one clear goal: get on stage with the best physique I'd ever built. And that's what we did. I stepped on stage for the first time and I won. It was by far and away the absolute best I'd ever looked. Although the tan, yeah, still questionable. Anyway, this brings me on to my third lesson. Sometimes you have to look your worst to eventually look your best. And no, you don't need to go as far as I did. Bodybuilding naturally leans toward extremes at both ends of the spectrum, but I truly believe there's progress to be made from committing to a long-term calorie surplus, embracing some body fat gain, and going all in on strength, performance, and muscle gain. You have to trust that that temporary discomfort is all part of a bigger plan. Because ultimately, I've seen it time and time again, the ones that make the biggest transformations are the ones who can delay gratification and they're willing to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term reward. I'm honestly not sure my physique would be where it's at today without that lesson. That brings me to where I am now, currently in the longest bulking phase I've ever done. When I take a step back and reflect on my fitness journey, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that progress is never linear. In 2021, I had a shoulder impingement that completely stopped me from training upper body for 2 months. In 2022, my master's degree became so demanding and overwhelming, I couldn't give my fitness goals the attention I wanted to. Then in 2023, I dislocated my knee 2 weeks before I was meant to start my bodybuilding prep. And then to top it all off, me and Ryan got evicted from our flat and had to find a new place to live within a month. Listen, I'm not saying I've had it especially tough. In the grand scheme of things, these are minor setbacks. But there were real disruptions at the time, and it completely threw me off making progress. Life will absolutely throw curveballs, and they can definitely impact your training, goals, and your mindset. But the truth is, setbacks are part of the process. You have to accept obstacles will come, and they might slow your progress for a while, but what matters is how you respond. What I've learned is that setbacks are just part of the process. Sometimes you need to take a step back, adjust, or just ride things out for a while, and that's completely okay. Progress might slow down, routines might get interrupted, but that doesn't mean you've completely failed or gone backwards. It honestly just means that you're human and life has gotten in the way. The important thing is staying consistent when you can, keeping perspective and knowing that momentum comes back, as long as you don't completely check out. Fitness is a long game. A few tough weeks or months won't completely undo everything you've built. Hang on. Let me explain this through a visual cue. Give me a second. Oh, my knees, Jesus. I've got the knees of like a 6-year-old man. Whiteboard. Oh, right. Let's open this bad boy up. Bash, good pen. This is really gonna expose my creative skills. It's gonna be awful, by the way, but bear with me. So I'm gonna do years of progress along the bottom, and then the amount of progress that we make along the top. Okay, so, the whiteboard's got stuck to the magnet. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. This is not going how I planned in my head. All right, let me just pop this back on. Yeah. This is a representation of what people think progress should look like. So very linear. And then this squiggly line just here is what actual progress looks like. Look at that. Tell I did GCSE art. That squiggly line represents what actual progress looks like. So even though the lines both finish at the same endpoint, one is completely linear, and then the other, obviously, as you can see, has peaks and troughs. The latter one is a representation of what true progress looks like. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up my journey and the lessons I've learned along the way. This channel is going to be all about helping you reach your fitness goals. My aim here is to give you so much value, you won't need to look anywhere else for clear, reliable fitness advice. If there's any topics you want me to cover, please let me know and I'm happy to make a video on it. If you found this video helpful, make sure you stick around, there's plenty more to come. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Ciao.